So my new phone finally came and I was really excited to unbox this. I actually went and got everything ready first. I was frantically moving everything around on this desk before the unboxing, and when the phone finally opened the box, it was like, wow. This phone is pretty heavy, but that's due to the 4000 mAh battery in it. It's also worth noting that I have the 4 GB of RAM and the 128 GB of storage variant of the smartphone. And that's the smartphone right there. We'll put it aside for now. Underneath that, you get an insert, which is housing the SIM ejector tool, the user guide, and a TPU case, which has all the relevant cutouts. Underneath that, you get your 2 amp charging brick, and this phone does not support fast charging, so that's just a standard brick. And you get your USB-A to Type-C cable. Also, you get a pair of earphones in the box, which are pretty decent. I did test them out, but they're not really the earphones that I will be using for the smartphone. So that's the unboxing experience for the smartphone, which is pretty good for a mid-range smartphone. I was pretty impressed. Now there's only one thing left to do, and that's peel the sticker off the back. So as I said, this phone charges with Type-C, which is actually quite a good combination with the 4000 mAh battery, because it's really good for charging. I really like the design of this phone as well. The color that I have here is sapphire blue, and the back is actually made of plastic. It does look like glass, and it does feel like a really premium smartphone. So this phone did receive its Android 10 update within the time that I had it. Now, within the time that it came out, it didn't really have an Android 10 update up until the end of last year. And that's probably the reason why you'll see that some of the applications are in their dark mode, and even the status bar when you pull it down is also in its dark mode. I actually really enjoyed this Android 10 update, and it still worked really smooth with the phone, even though it's not really a new phone. So this phone actually has a 6.59-inch LTPS FHD Plus display, and boy oh boy is it a good display. It's Huawei's ultra full view display, and viewing angles are pretty good, and there's no distractions due to that pop-up camera, which we'll talk about now. So I found the design of the smartphone pretty minimalistic, in the sense that it's very calm looking smartphone. It's got nice smooth curved edges, but that glass back still attracts fingerprints, so you might want to slap that TPU case on there just to avoid that. So these are the cameras. On the top you have a 2 megapixel depth sensor, in the middle you have a 16 megapixel main, and on the bottom you have an 8 megapixel ultra wide with the flash underneath that. So next to that you have the fingerprint sensor, and if you look carefully you can see Huawei's dividing line, which is what they're calling it. So like I said, gaming is a breeze. It has the Kirin 710F processor inside of it, and I think the Mali GPU, Mali 51 GPU. I'm not quite sure of the GPU, but yeah, I didn't see any frame drops. Everything was pretty smooth, and I enjoyed gaming on the smartphone. So this is just a shot of what the back of the phone looks like in this lighting. It's a really nice and really premium looking phone in almost any lighting condition. Even in direct sunlight, it still looks amazing. So now to the main attraction, the camera, the front camera anyways. As you can see, there's no notch, there's no hole punch, and there's no bezel for the camera. And that's because it's a pop-up camera. It's a 16 megapixel front camera, and it's a pretty good one. I'll show some photo samples at the end of the video. So as you can see, there's the pop-up camera right there, and right next to it is the hybrid SIM card tray, which houses a nano SIM and a micro SD expandable up to 512 gigabytes of storage. So it is worth noting that this pop-up camera is not the fastest pop-up camera in the world, but it still gets the job done. See, there's some photos that I took on the rear camera. This is the 60 megapixel main camera. I really like the way that it handles the saturation and the actual background. It actually blurs it out a little bit, and the photo came out really good. This is the ultra wide camera. Once again, a very good performing camera. Even though it's 8 megapixels, it's actually still pretty good in the bright lighting conditions. Then this next one is a video clip on the ultra wide camera, which is also not too bad, but since it's the ultra wide, it does take a hit when it comes to quality. This is a portrait mode shot with the front camera, and yeah, once again, lots of background blur, which is how portrait shot should be. And this is a standard selfie without any portrait mode or any other changes to the settings, which is also pretty good with the right lighting conditions. Then this is a rear camera portrait shot. Once again, lots of background blur. This is a video clip taken on the 60 megapixel main camera. I like the way it handles optical image stabilization, and the video quality is also pretty good. So yeah. So this is a video taken on the front camera of the Huawei Y9 Prime, and this is actually the last video clip of the entire video. So just to recap on this phone's specifications, it's got a 4000 mAh battery, it's got 4 gigs of RAM plus 128 gigabytes of internal storage, it's got a Type-C connector with a headphone jack, which is not something we see nowadays on smartphones, so that's a pretty good feature. It's got a 60 megapixel AI camera on the back with a 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and it also features a 60 megapixel front pop-up camera, which is not something you see on smartphones as well. Another thing is the screen. It's Huawei Ultra Full View display, and it's a 6.59 inch LTPS FHD Plus display. So all in all, it's a pretty featureful smartphone. It's also a really good value for money. It's retails at about $200, which is about 5,000 Rand, and yeah, it's a really good smartphone for its price. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button, be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment in the video whether you think that this is a good smartphone and what your favorite feature of the smartphone is. Till next time, this is Liam, and I'll see you in the next one.